Hi, everybody. Welcome to my favorite shitty movie. My name is Todd Anderson, and I am launching the show tonight. It's our first show in June. I know it's not officially summer, but it feels like summer anyway, so I'm calling it our first show of summer 2025. I am the author of this book, by the way, Murder Valley, which you can get on Amazon. I know Jeff Bezos is a monster. I understand that. There's no way around it. But this is a great a horror novel. You should read it. You should buy it, and you should read it. If I get to 1 million copies sold, I'll be a millionaire. So far, I'm at like 40. But that's pretty good. It's a good start. Let's keep it going. Tonight, I'm very excited to talk about this movie, The Beach Girls, which I have in this collection, which is called the Too Cool for School collection from Mill Creek. It's low rent 80s jiggle comedy, and there's such a huge place in my heart for these movies. My wife Hillary does not care for them at all. She thinks they're misogynistic and objectify women too much and all that stuff. But I always look at them through the lens of a 14-year-old, 13-year-old maybe, in New England, seeing these things on VHS and being like, oh, I'm getting away with something. And that's what it brings me back to. So I love these kind of movies. And Patty Stone, our guest, is one of my favorite people on the planet. And the fact that she brought this movie to us, which meant that Hillary had to sit down and watch it with me because we had to pick our Anderson family reenactment scene. I got to watch a jiggle comedy with my wife, and that was great. She got bored halfway through and started looking at her phone. But that's neither here nor there. I love it. It's Beach Girls. But before we bring Patty on and talk about Beach Girls, I have to, of course, bring my co-host Tracy Mercer on. She's having a drink and getting ready to talk about this beach wonderment.
Beach wonderment. Oh, I like that. That should be like it's the Beach Girls universe, and it goes wonderment and all this good stuff.
It should have its own universe.
It really should. Everything should have its own universe. Oh my God. I love, God bless Hillary always. That's a totally respectable point of view. I understand that. Here's what I'm now at this place because we're in this hellscape timeline where there's something to me. This film seems so innocent. Like the idea that we're calling it like a jiggle comedy, I always just think is like hilarious because I feel like, like in 22 states, I can't control my own body right now. People are trying to undo my marriage right now. Like, you know what? A bunch of like girls who are barely topless running around a producer's house on a beach somewhere in California going, whoa, party, look at the pot. Whoa. I'm like, this is a nice escape from where we're living right now. And it's 82-ish. So it's like everyone is still sort of dressed like the 70s. And it's like,
and
it's fun.
I'll say this too. Like if you look at the old trailers, which are all would be called red band trailers today, I think at the drive-in, they didn't care. But like this movie delivers on what it advertises on. Mm-hmm. It doesn't say it's going to have a plot in the trailer. No. It just says there's going to be a bunch of topless chicks jumping in a pool.
Yeah.
And yeah, every time you turn around, there's topless ladies, and it delivers on that. And then it also tries to bring comedy, and I respect its attempts. However, they haven't aged well, and they weren't good then, but the energy is so high. And like if you look at just the cast alone, the energy is so high, everybody's bringing it. Even these poor actors who are relegated to playing these horrible racist stereotypes.
Oh my God,
are doing it on the most fun level.
Yeah,
they're really delivering.
It is definitely a time capsule. I mean, it's almost, we had, 16 Candles comes out like a year or two later than this one, right? But, you've got literally like an Asian character with a gong when he comes in doing obviously Bruce Lee. You've got the, Hispanic gardener who just can't seem to do anything from tending to flowers to walking upstairs.
He can't deal with topless women.
Boobs.
Every time he sees one, he destroys something.
Yeah, he's just like, oh my God, I've never seen boobs before. But he's like a super creeper, and he's like knocking on windows, and it's bizarre, but it's all it's like of an era where, so it's 82 when this comes out, which means they probably shot it in 81. And like, I think around like 79, 80, like one of the biggest, sex comedies that really went mainstream was 10. So you've got a film like in this one that's actually making a reference to John Derek's 10, with like, the gal who's not the size 0, literally wearing 10 in like bad cornrows, which in itself today, both in the original Bo Derek film and this would probably be like, you're canceled. But it's like, they're just like inviting you to have fun. Do not take this film seriously. The filmmakers certainly didn't. And no one's, trying to be mean and cruel. It's just like, it's a silly fun.
Our boy Jeff Luce just pointed out the version on YouTube is sanitized, made for TV. So maybe that's the one that you saw.
It is the one that I saw, but you could see where the cuts were. I mean, it's somebody.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's like, I can't imagine how long the version on YouTube is.
It's an hour and 21 minutes on YouTube, and I think it cut out 6 or 7 minutes. So
it's actually 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
It cut out 10 minutes, and that's a lot of gratuitous. And
yet I was able to fill in the blanks. It's like,
Hillary would have preferred it that way, I imagine. But let's not waste any more time and bring on the wild and crazy Patty Stone to talk about
Patty Stone. Spirit.
Beach bimbo. My beach bimbo name is Pepper, by the way.
Okay, Pepper. I like Pepper.
Welcome to the show, Pepper. Thanks for coming.
Watch your first time viewer or whatever. it's like Larry King at Altoona. Anyway, amazing. Thank you for joining us on this crazy adventure.
Thanks for having me.
And so we're going to start with you the way we start with all our first-time guests and ask you this very simple question, which ends up being complicated. Please define for us what, for you, a great shitty movie is. What does that mean for you? It's different for everybody.
Sure, yeah. It's horrible yet satisfying. It entertains the shit out of you, no matter what it does to someone else. You really don't care. It's a greasy 2 a.m. burger. It's a bad idea, but it just feels so good. It's that's a shitty movie to me.
That's awesome.
A greasy 2 a.m. burger is such a good way to describe.
I am here for all the food metaphors. Yeah.
It's so satisfying, but it's going straight to your ass, and it's just, what are you going to do, right?
Yeah. Pizza. Oh my God. Yeah. So, so the Beach Girls, tell us why you picked this one. Why is this one the thing that you were passionate to talk about, and then tell us about your first time seeing it and how you did and why.
Well, this movie is from 1982, and I was a freshman in high school, so it's a very telling time, right? And I don't know how the hell we discovered it. My girlfriend and I were probably high and found the movie, and just we instantly connected in that I want to be a beach girl. I want to have a beach house. I want to have a party with lots of people. I'm totally fine with boobs, all the things. It made so much sense, all the way down to the gay pirates. I was good. I was good from start to finish.
Okay. And so did you see it in the theater, or did you rent it on VHS?
I don't think this was on the big screen that I know of. I mean, it could have gone, for like a second, but I really couldn't begin to tell you.
It's okay. I remember looking it up, and they were like, it made $12 million. And I'm like, oh my God, like, how did it make $12 million? I mean, my company has put out a really good film, Audrey's Children. You can get it on VOD. And that's not even going to clear. I don't even want to say. So it's like, but I mean, back in the 80s, you did have a home video market to help support. And even if it was a limited theatrical, they could bump up, the value of sell-through back when you had terms like sell-through video.
I'm pretty sure this was straight to video, Todd. So yeah, I'm going to say we probably
no. This was a drive-in movie, because 82 is actually really early in the VHS kind of revolution.
Yeah. We did have a drive-in in Newbury Park. We had a drive-in.
So I'm betting you might have seen it at the drive-in because this was a drive-in movie, and they played the trailers for it for months before it came out.
Yeah.
And I of course saw it on VHS, because I wasn't allowed to see these movies, and there were no drive-ins nearby, so that 1982 wasn't happening.
If we saw it at the drive-in, then I probably had about 7 people shoved in the trunk of my Cutlass Supreme, but that's just a whole nother experience.
That's the only way to go to a drive-in.
But it's funny too, because it's like 3 years after this comes out, we get Back to the Future, which is like the boomers reflecting on their youth of the 50s. And, AIP, the Great American International Pictures, Sam Arkoff, he really started making all of his money by doing teenage movies. So like the Beach Blanket Bingo films, and then they would get a little bit more sexed up, like Cool and Crazy and Daddy-O and great titles like that. This felt like an 82 movie that just added nudity to the AIP mix. And so it is that formula, but for early 80s. And so I think if you look at it in that kind of context, there's also, again, there's a charm and an innocence, even though it's completely exploitation.
So bad.
Not I don't think it's mean-spirited. I mean, people can clutch all they want about some of the stereotypes, and I understand that. I don't want to be insensitive, but it doesn't feel mean. It just is like we're being irreverent, and it's not supposed to be taken seriously. And I think that there's something about just being honest and come and have fun. We're not mis-selling this. I mean, I always loved when they were selling like Charlie's Angels. They're like, oh, TV's first jiggle show. And I was like, well, that's fun. They're all like A cups. So how are you defining that? But not to be too technical.
Well,
but what's a jiggle show if you're, I don't know. But anyway.
Not to go too far forward, but if you talk about the fact that they stereotype absolutely everybody. The party is my kind of party, because not only is there one of everybody, which, the nerdy guy has a popular scene, he's great. Everybody's accepting of each other. Doesn't matter who's there, how they dance, what they're wearing. Half of them are in weird work jumpsuits.
They remind us that velour was once a thing.
It just doesn't matter who's there. Even the cool kids are broken. Even the cool kids make fun of themselves.
Yeah.
So nobody escapes in this movie.
Yes. It's not like they're targeting any one thing. It's just equal opportunity, which in a weird way makes it, I think, it dates better than some others I can think of this particular time period. But
so, Patty, why don't you tell us what happens in this movie as best you can? Because one of my, observations watching it was it has so many subplots, but I don't know that it has a plot. I mean, there's subplots, but no plot. So what happens?
A subplot to the subplot to the plot. It has so much plot.
So, but what's the plot? Okay, so tell us what happens in it.
All right. So first of all, the opening scene, I feel, really sets the movie, because you've got the music, all the things are happening at once, and it's letting you know exactly what you're getting yourself into, right? From the get-go. First of all, there's the whole 10 reference, the 3 hot chicks and the chubby girl, and they're doing their beach run, right? You're getting a barrage of TNA right off the bat. If you don't like this, turn it off. This is not your movie. You've got the metal detector guy. You're clearly at the beach. There's a metal detector guy. So it's obviously the 80s. Yeah. And then
and that's a running joke through the whole movie that does not pay off.
But maybe that's where he finds his bearings. But and then to just top it off, enter Big Titty Blonde and Bombshell Brunette, carefree, and then a handsome hitchhiker, and you pretty much know what you're getting into. Okay. And for a brief second, you showed the other girl, and she's kind of you can't really tell yet, but maybe a little more conservative, right? She's got her hair up. And
she wears glasses. Oh my God.
She's a prude because she wears glasses, which means she's also, that's code in the 80s for you're probably smart, and she wants to be a lawyer. So we have to, but we still have to photograph her from behind and make sure you understand her thighs do not touch, y'all.
Oh, so, no, she's a virgin. Total.
It's okay. It's all good. It's all good.
So that right there sets the scene, and you're like, okay, I'm going to be at the beach with hot chicks and a hitchhiking hot dude and all this. And then where do the gay sailors come from? All of a sudden, we've got gay sailors, and we're like, yes, definitely my kind of movie. I like that.
Wearing an orange ascot. And what's
That
bizarre,
was just a quick note. That was one of the few times Hillary laughed out loud is when the gay sailors walk after he's like forced himself on the captain and he's walking away and he just says, "I love a man in uniform." Just the like ludicrous embodiment of a stereotype and just kind of celebrating it is hilarious.
But as he's doing it, there's this scene where he's lining up and he's doing a Humphrey Bogart impression where he's got bearings in his hands, which is famous from the Cane Mutiny, where Bogart's captain
right.
Somebody lock up the strawberries. And he's doing this in an 82 sex comedy. I'm like, in 82, we're referencing Bogart from the Cane Mutiny? I mean, like, this is such an oddball way to start this movie. I'm like, okay, there's a Bill Buff behind this.
Right.
It's so silly. And the pirates are constantly dumping pot off their boat. But we'll get to that. So what happens?
In trash bags.
So the best thing that really gets it rolling is that, this poor girl is in her house. She doesn't really know what's about to happen. She's putting away the groceries and in walks handsome stranger with this like instant attraction, like this innocence. Flutter.
And he's the guy from Animal House who got the hand job, right?
He's the hot guy with the guitar that they pick up on the side of the road because these two are like, yeah, we're going to stay with, Smart Girl because like her cousin or whatever has this house and we're going to invite a stranger into her home that we're already crashing. And you're like, that's really thoughtful.
So first of all, it's really super cute that they have instant attraction to each other. But don't you think when you turn around and see some dude standing there, you're just going to drop whatever you're holding and just shit? Like, I would just like, like this is not going to be.
It's also funny because he's sitting there being all cute and charming. And he's like, you left your groceries in the car. I'm bringing you your groceries as he's holding the groceries. I'm like, yeah, no, we get it. It's a little bit like Baby and Dirty Nancy. She's like, I carried a watermelon. You're like, no. Like, but there was this sweet straight guy. He's like, I'm carrying your groceries. I'm like, yes, I can see the action.
You know what's crazy is I have a clip of this scene that you guys are talking about.
Oh my God.
Would you like to see it?
I'd love to.
We should roll a clip.
Here it is. Hi.
Who are you?
Scott Daniels.
Oh.
The girls gave me a lift.
Oh.
I brought in your groceries.
Thanks.
You left them on the car.
Oh.
Where should I put the ketchup?
Nicely done, you two. Anderson family players for the win.
It's funny. We've had two shows in a row where it's been hard to find a scene that we can do from it because there's so much inappropriateness in this movie.
Right.
Because the last movie we did, Patty, was 365 days.
Oh, okay.
Seen that magic. But, if you like a sexy film, woo!
Okay.
So
well, that was great. Anderson family reenactments are the
it's the best. This movie, so like basically setting up a bunch of pretty people who are going to be at a beach house for like a party, and that's kind of as much as like you've got like, ooh, hi, and she's like very intense, and then you've got the brunette, and I mean there's like a certain level of glam, like they're driving around on PCH, and they've got the hot cars and the great glasses.
Do you all recognize the brunette though? That she's from the ZZ Top videos.
Oh, no way.
She's got legs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she's in like 6 ZZ Top videos.
Wow.
Was she married to one of them or something?
I don't know. They were called the ZZ Top Muses. But yes, Tracy, we've got a house full of potential partygoers. We're adding more partygoers And we'll get to that in just one
There's
second.
yellow pages.
Okay, but we also have to cut to the horny old neighbor with the telescope and his nagging wife.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And then she starts calling like the pizza guy and all the people to come over. But we also are setting up the scene that there's someone who's actually watching with a telescope, and that's Mary Jo Catlett.
It's another moment reminiscent of 10, really.
Yes, the telescope plays heavily.
By the way, this actress, I don't know her name, but
Mary Jo Catlett.
she was the maid on Different Strokes.
Oh,
I think after Mrs. Garrett, Charlotte Rae, left to do Facts of Life, she got the spinoff.
Wow. And the brunette was also a Playboy playmate, Jeff Luce informs us. Right on, Jeff, once again.
Okay. Gina Thomasina. Yeah, exactly.
I read for the articles. Of course, the articles, obviously.
But he knows the name of the centerfold. Okay. Well,
the
whatever.
funny thing is
that their names. Yes. What? No, that's wrong.
No, not Gina Thomasina, but Mary Jo Catlett has made an absolute killing. She's, I guess, the teacher on SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh,
yeah. Mrs. Puff.
Sure.
So if you look at her IMDb, any SpongeBob spinoff that they made, SpongeBob goes to college, SpongeBob gets his period. It's all, she's in all of them. It's crazy.
I did not see SpongeBob got his period.
Yeah.
I would like to see that one. Is that a movie or just an episode?
I
feel like the Republicans will love it. I take drugs and I live in a pineapple. What's happening?
Have you ever done this shitty movie? Because she's actually in one of my all-time favorites, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what she plays in it, but have you ever done that movie on here?
We have
no.
And that is
nobody has brought up Burt Reynolds and Dolly Parton's Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
I feel like that and Rhinestone with Dolly and Sly would be a great double feature for somebody, you know.
For me, that's a for me. That's a for me. Yeah. Rhinestone. I will watch that.
So the girl grabs the yellow pages and starts just dialing, and the very first thing, I love it so much. Hello, pizza man. Yeah. Like that's the moment right there.
We got to have boys come over, and then she's like hitting on the pizza dude.
Oh my God. And you start your cliches. She's like, is that a salami in your pants? Are you just happy to see me?
He's like, it's a salami.
That was a long road for him to take out an actual salami. I was like, long road. Because it was just a one shot. I was like, what? I know what you guys are doing. Stop. There was a lot of those jokes. Like, what's happening under the camera? Nothing.
So she apparently calls Clem's TV repair, the local diaper service, a plumber, the liquor delivery store, each one asking like, how cute is your delivery guy, right? But I love it when they call the liquor delivery store, they actually order 5 cases of peach tipple.
Yeah, what is peach tipple?
Is that like schmuck without paying for it?
Again, you never see it in the movie. No drinking peach tipple. But if you had a party where your party goers drank 5 cases of peach, there would be puke everywhere.
It would be disgusting. Yeah,
it would be disgusting.
Yeah,
is that what it is? Like a peach liqueur?
I don't know.
It feels like it's made up because they didn't want to pay for peach schnapps.
They didn't want to,
because it's
It's a brilliant name for a liqueur. I have to say.
Or Silver Lake Bobby Sox band. You know?
She actually orders, can I get 5 cases of peach tipple, beer, 5 cases of beer, and some pretzels?
Yeah, because we got to eat.
It's just
you got to get that bread base going.
Yeah.
You got to get the bread base.
There's some concern because they're like, this is a really big order, and so who do we call, right?
The bitchy stepmom.
Oh my God! The cigarette pose, like the pearls, the phone. I mean, she's special.
I think she's the hottest woman in this movie.
Is it the pearls?
Yeah, it's the pearls and how mean she is.
I'm attracted to the phone. That phone turns me on.
I had that phone.
It's so bad.
No, she looks like she should be an extra on 8 is enough. You're like, it's okay. It's right. Amazing.
I looked her. She was from All My Children, or one of those soap operas from the 80s. So that's why she's so bitchy.
Okay, she's got it down.
Oh, that makes sense.
Perfect.
Amazing. And so then we introduced her, but then we also talked to us about who this character is.
Oh, well, that's Uncle Carl. And at this point, Uncle Carl still has scruples.
Yeah, but like he launches as a creep, kind of.
Yeah. So, well, the first thing he says is, "Oh, how much trouble could they get into?" And then he goes, "Oh, I was their age once." And he gets in the car and he goes over there, right? But this is Adam Rourke, and the funny thing about Adam Rourke is all of his stereotype roles that he's had. So his movies are famous for Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry.
Oh,
I love that movie. It's a great.
Peter Fonda film,
right? Yeah. Hell's Angels on Wheels.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah. Like, who is this guy?
That's AIP. Yeah. That goes back to what? Yep.
He's a drive-in staple, and this was a drive-in movie. I mean, it was the end of the drive-in era, but it was still the drive-in era.
So great.
So, but I need to go back and watch Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry.
Yes,
that's a great one. Yeah, I have a DVD double feature of that.
Isn't Susan James the female lead? It
sounds familiar. Yeah.
I have a double feature of that and Race with the Devil.
Race with the Devil is amazing.
With William Oates and Fonda as well.
Loretta Swit, who we just lost.
Oh, Loretta Swit.
And the great Laura Parker, who we lost last year from Dark Shadows fame. Like that is a really amazing, with the whole cast now we've lost, but it's like literally a Winnebago filled with two couples, and they unfortunately see like witches sacrificing someone, and then they have to race from the dough to the.
They race from it's a satanic cult.
That sounds fun.
It's so fun and it's so good. It's amazing. But
Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry is different, but it's very much like a biker movie. It's like Beach Girls, but with like bike criminals. But it has no real plot, but it's like so much fun to hang out with these crazy characters.
Fonda capitalizing on the success of being Captain America and Easy Rider, and on the bike and looking for America, and he couldn't find it anywhere, and all that kind of good stuff. But it's AIP, it's Corman-esque, it's the stuff. So I think you're right, Patty. It's like this is like that. It's the last gasp of like the 80s looking back, but like. Yeah. TNA. That's basically what this is.
And so many cliched characters, cliched music, cliched sayings. Mm-hmm. It's just a whole movie is when you say it doesn't have a plot. It's
got the sexy cop who shows up.
Oh, the cop is great. And especially how he comes around at the end.
Yeah.
One thing that I think is funny is the point at which everybody finally discovers that there's a pool in the backyard. Yeah. So like, they've all been partying their ass off. They're already out of alcohol and had to call for more. Everybody's got their clothes on still. The sun is setting, and they finally go out and go, "Oh my God, a pool!
There's a pool!
There's a pool!"
And then the clothes start coming off.
Yeah, it was so funny to me when they ran out to the pool.
Yeah,
and some of the ladies just took their tops off, like that's just how you get in a pool, and others took their entire suits off because that's how they get in a pool, and then others didn't. They just got in the pool, and I was like, I want to know about all their upbringings, like what were they raised with, and how did they learn?
Like, we have to pay the extras. Okay, more for topless go. That's what it was.
Well, like I said, this party allows all the kids to come, so some of them are into that, and that's cool.
It's very inclusive.
Some of us get super naked, super easy. So
yeah, it's all good. It's all good at the beach.
All this like kind of craziness is going on in this house. Once again, in the deep background, you see the creeper, like Hispanic gardener, who's like just not good, not a good thing. But he's also somehow funny and charming at the same time because he just keeps hurting himself. He's almost like Clouseau walking around hurting himself, and like it's a good performance. I'm sorry,
but what's with the music? Every time he hurts himself, the movie goes.
Yeah, and also another reference to 10 because like there's the famous shot where Dudley Moore falls down
the steps. Yes,
this guy's doing that off the steps,
Yes.
and they play it like literally rules of three, boom, 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 boom. You
Poor
know,
guy.
but he's
And
okay. He's not harmed, really. But they play.
No,
it.
he's just a little discombobulated, and then he's
Very.
like, "Oh, I've got to finish the gardening." You know?
And there's these little sight gags, right? Like you've got moments like this, right?
God.
Where the pizza boy is like, they put all this crap in there. Then you're like, what are they
This goes on, Tracy, for so long.
Like 10 minutes.
They put fish in there and beans and shit, and then and that's supposed to be hilarious because he's always distracted by her boobs every time he adds an ingredient.
There's no payoff because he's like, it's fine, and you're like,
he drinks it and it's fine. And I think that's what they were like. I don't know. It's almost like it was the aristocrats joke where it's just like we did this forever and we've got nothing to back it up.
Yeah, no, it is a thing. But they're clearly having fun with it. But they have like these little moments and these little skits, and then you've got this moment where we've introduced the blonde, who's doing this with the weightlifter, but then it's like they're trying to have this heartfelt moment where like the smart gal, right, is like, I just have dreams and I want to do things, and she's been kind of dressed in a dowdy way, and then you've got
she's still in a sweater though. She's still in a freaking sweater. Like it's been
a sweater on a beach party.
They have run out of alcohol and called for more.
Yes,
and she's still in a cable knit.
Yeah,
like, I don't get that.
There's so many people. The entire working class of their community has been called to this house.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody in Malibu is at this house in Paradise.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Doreen for a second. Because Doreen is the diaper delivery girl who's giving her the pep talk right there.
Right.
With the big boobies. And she has been in some killer stuff. Apparently she was in Vacation.
Oh, wow.
Young Doctors in Love.
Oh, that was a good film. That was like every Grey's Anatomy thing is Young Doctors in Love.
Yeah.
Wait, is that Randy Quaid's wife from Vacation?
I don't know what her role is. Maybe you could look it up.
Shit, I'm looking this up. All right,
but
go on.
She's in one of my all-time favorite movies, which actually I should mention at the end. But Last American Virgin.
Oh, yeah.
Greatest movie ever.
Yeah, it's
greatest movie ever. She's also in Any Which Way You Can and 6 episodes of Angie, which I was so in love with.
Oh my God, Angie, Dana Pascal with Robert Hayes. Yes, absolutely. Hey, Gen X, a little bit of Gen X love there.
Yeah.
Tell me her name. What's the actress's name again?
Her name is Tessa Richard.
Tessa Richard. Okay, go on.
Okay, so they've got this like, she's helping her out and all this stuff. She ends up, the hot cop shows up. He's on the reserve summer job. His dad's the chief. He throws all that into the plot like immediately. Like every little thing.
Hello, Patty.
It all builds the plot like instantly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she's had a pensive guitar playing talk with the guy on the beach and laid it out there that she's got this 8 to 10 year plan for her life. And she's going to law school and she's doing all these things. And she's like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I'm just going to be me, man. I'm just, I'm at the beach. I'm loving life. And so this is where she starts to have her like, start of her epiphany moment. Well, meanwhile, Uncle Carl's coming home and there's a hell of a party going on in his Malibu beach house, right?
Right.
She's in deep doo-doo. But did you notice the part where the characters come walking through the scene? One guy's juggling. Another guy's got scuba gear and he goes, I'm a muff diver. Another guy's wearing a helmet and he's chasing a girl that's got a spatula, and like none of it makes sense.
No, and he's credited as muff diver. And you're like,
yeah.
I mean, it's so like, yeah. It's very.
By the way, that Tessa or whatever her name is not Randy Quaid's wife in Vacation.
Oh, what was she in Vacation?
She just has a small part. It's like a motel clerk or whatever. But she does look weirdly like her, which is interesting. Yeah. Sorry to. It
was a look, but you have basically what sort of counts as a plot point where he's like, you've overblown this. The party is too big. You've got to shut it down. And it's
can I just like in this sequence where he has this talk with her and then she talks him into letting her keep the party going. but then everybody has to get out, including her friends, the next morning. When they walk away, and I already thought he was being a creepy uncle. There was something weird about his energy. But when they walk away, he hits her right in the ass. He gives her a little smack in the ass.
And Jeff Luce is
like,
asking, is it my imagination? No, it is not. And Todd is confirming. That's exactly
it was like and then they're like later there's a joke where somebody says you could be my son. The lady I think is hot says to some kid, you could be my kid. And he's like, I'm not into incest. So there's like a lot of weird incestual like undertones in this weird movie.
You're like, I'm year 2. Anyway,
it gets even weirder when Uncle Carl hits the sauna with the 18-year-olds. Like, okay, so like out of New York, I mean, I'm sorry, he's not young. They're 18. They just graduated from high school. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But we jump forward. So the fun thing is
we also jump from the random you have to shut the party down to a direct cut with like the gay like crew with like the pot. Like this guy looks like Saddam Hussein. Like I don't know what's happening here, but with an eye patch.
He's a pirate. He's a pirate.
You got the pirates and then the sea guys. And I guess the seamen is that in the pirate? What's going on in the sea? There's a lot happening in the scene that you don't think.
So we're all in the mindset of this movie.
I feel like it's a little like that's a little awkward.
If you want to talk plot, the plot actually works, Todd, because we already saw Captain Bligh and he's set a course, right? And he's headed for the pirates. The pirates see this and they feel like Captain Bligh's onto them. So they dump the pot, and then the pot washes up for the next party. But
But can we also talk about the pirates are so gay? They're like, we have pot. Like, it's not even cocaine, which is like drug of the era. They're like, let's see that pot that looks a lot like moss from a flower shop, because it is. And we're going to put it in a hefty bag and then it'll float out to the sea. And then our big plan is we're going to land into Malibu and get the trash bags with all the pot. It's like,
well, did you see where the pirate goes, can't we just keep a little bit? And the boss pirate goes, not even a lid. And I'm like,
not even a lid. I know. That's so old school. So old school. It's also funny that the captain's first mate is always telling him, we have to dump the pot. That's his whole job. It's like, no, we got to dump it.
Like Ralph Reed devotee. You know what I mean? He's like this, like totally uptight, like, he'd be like, GOP on the Hill.
So I have Uncle Carl's going to be in the sauna now with the girls, and he's super uptight, right? And the girls are like, "Can we stay?"
But notice that he ditches the glasses to be.
She goes first. Yeah, he's looking a little cuter, right? And she goes first, and she's like, "Oh, can we stay?" And she's in her cotton undies, and she gives him a joint, and he's like, "Oh no, I don't smoke." And this is the best line in the world. She says, "These aren't cigarettes. They don't kill you. They let you live, baby." And she says it just like that. They let you live. What are you, Cheech? Like, they let you live.
But also, she's totally right, ultimately.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It makes him very happy.
What I also appreciate between the blonde and the brunette is that they're kind of gaslighting the uncle to keep the party going. Yeah. And so, like, they put him to bed, but there is literally, like, you feel like she's helping to kind of gaslight him with this confusion about what's going on. And he can't remember anything, but he wants to believe he had sex with her. And they're just kind of going along with this. And then she even fakes like her own drowning, where he has to, like, come out and revive her. And of course her blonde counterpart is there, which then gives us to the aforementioned, the smart girl is like doing ATVs driving along the beach. But these guys are like, kind of working him. And then this is the introduction of the trash bags with these bikinis are kind of everything. Like, this is 82 in a nutshell. I mean,
turquoise number is
the turquoise, but also I feel like with the brunette, she's doing a little Phoebe Cates, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Am I right? Like, coming out of the pool, it's like every dude I know of a certain age is like Phoebe Cates in the swimsuit coming out of the pool. It's like it's a key moment of their youth. But they're clearly referencing that, in a weird way. It's like around the same era. But very fun. And then you go right into the absurdity of like, this is like Moss.
Okay, two things. First of all, did you see the random Jaws scene go by?
The random Jaws scene.
There's a little blip that goes by where they like reenact Jaws for like a brief second in this movie. But about that weed, what I want to say is by the time they go to like, clear out the party and everything, that weed is inside every orifice of this house.
Yeah.
I get that they're packaging up the baggies and Doreen's handing them out the front door. Again, my freaking kind of party. I want to go to that party, right? Here's an ounce of weed. Have a good time.
Yeah.
But it's in the toaster oven. It's in the cupboards. It's in the medicine cabinet. Why did someone take all those trash bags and bring it down and shove it in every drawer?
As opposed to just leave it in the bags. Yeah. Yeah. They may not be thinkers. I don't want to put that out there, but maybe.
You might not stay here all summer and you're going to want to take it home with you.
They burned all their intellectual elements on seducing Uncle.
Oh.
That's like they didn't have the bandwidth to also deal with weed. They had got the Uncle to keep partying.
And then our smart girl is kind of like, I think I kind of want to get it on with a hot blonde guy, and so she's trying to like glam out and be less serious. And this is the ultimate like Olivia Newton-John in Grease moment. Like, I'm really wholesome. Sandy doesn't like me if I dress like a whore and I can go off in a car and fly with them and in leather.
Yeah, but it's also she's like
that evolution of like the smart girl can be sexy too, and of course she's sexy.
This is the one part of the movie like that actually seems to have at least like a plot according to one character. But she's like not just trying to seduce him by suddenly being hot chick. She's also trying to punish him by suddenly being hot chick.
Right?
I thought that was an interesting choice.
Well, because he's being a little flirty with other people, and so she's kind of okay.
Not to mention, this chick's a virgin who's never partied, and when she starts chugging vodka from the bottle and smoking a joint, I'm like, puke.
Yeah,
that's a hospitalization. That's what
no. So now we get into the real stereotyping, and that's that bitchy mom wanting to go, but her limo driver is an Asian guy named Wang or Wong?
It's Wang.
And you get the Asian music, and then you got the Mexican guy, and they get into the fight, and it's so good.
Well, it's an excuse to get everybody into mud wrestling.
Yes, and then they're best friends.
I will say this about the Asian stereotyping in this movie is the one character does all the Asian stereotypes in one. And I think that's actually comic genius. I think that's brilliant. He does Kung Fu, which is Chinese. He does the Bruce Lee, but he also yells bonsai at people, which is a Japanese thing.
Yeah. With a gong.
Yeah, he does all of it. Yeah. And so therefore, I think maybe at least in the actor's head at the time, he was like, I'm lampooning Asian stereotypes, and people aren't going to get this till way later.
There's also a funny one. So it's an excuse to get people into the mud. And I couldn't get a shot because it was too like bouncy, but they're literally like, there's a camera here and there's a piece of mud that flies up into the middle of the lens, and they keep cutting back to it because they didn't have coverage and they couldn't digitally remove it. So there's right in the middle, there's like, it's like, okay, here's the thing, and then it keeps going. I'm like, that's so lovely. Like, it's just like, yeah, we're just going to keep it and keep going back to it.
There's so many elements of this movie that are paying homage or just plain ripping off other movies from this kind of genre at the time. Is this after Stripes? Do you think they put the mud thing in it because Stripes was in it?
I remember there was like Playboy After Dark, and it was always like mud wrestling with the girl. It was of the era. Okay. It was all of that.
Okay. So Stripes had like a lot of movies had it because mud wrestling was a thing.
It was a thing, just like when we were growing up, when we saw those movies where we were told the Bermuda Triangle was real and like quicksand will kill us, and then it just went away. Yeah, it's like that. It's of a moment.
But those things are real. Quicksand will kill you. There's just not as much of it as we're led to believe.
Which way it was everything. It was in everything. And then you see by the time you get to Never Ending Story and the horror, you're like, you know, but like it's a Gen X thing where you're like, okay, that was a moment. But then what I also like about this, because this is the beginning, I mean, this is the early side of the 80s where, you know, where it would ramp up. And I think, you know, most famously with John Hughes in his movies, the adults were kind of idiots. And the kids were knew better, and he built up the kids, you know. And then sometimes in like something like Harry Dean Stanton, I think the dad in Pretty in Pink is kind of lovely, and I think we could relate to him now, right? You know, he can't get a job, he can't keep a job, he's missing the mom. You know, Andy, the Ringwald character, is trying to be a parent to him. Like, there's a reality to that. But for the most part, parents are pretty dumb in John Hughes films. Mm-hmm. And what I love about this is that the older characters are also dumb in this movie. So then, to your point, right? You've got, you know, this guy's supposed to be engaged. He's hanging out with these two, totally inappropriately too young, you know, with the girl with the cool phone who's like over his shit. And then what does she do? She runs into the hot cop.
Yeah. But seriously though, that scene with Uncle Carl, they are post-coital.
Oh, totally.
So if you want to talk about like things that why me, freshman in high school, wanted to watch this movie when two girls just had a threesome in a sauna with some freaking on beach party with bags of marijuana this big. I mean, there was so many things in it that just led me to go, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's also like everybody gets in on it. So then the authority figures he's hanging out with, I mean, let's hope they're 18. So there's that.
Yeah, they just graduated.
But you know, but like even the adults kind of are like, we all need the party. And so in a weird way, it is this unifying, everybody's in, you know, into that spirit. But I love that also. And, you know, we should give points to this, that you've got the female lead who's just basically found her fiance, you know, having a throuple with whatever these two are. And she gets to have sex too. And she gets to be like inappropriate. He gets to see her that she's having sex post-coital. And I'm like, that seems very equal to me. Like, you know, it's like what I love about like Human League, like, you know, like We're Only Human, or like Don't You Want Me? Like their best songs are always about like the guy like mansplaining, and she's like, yeah, well, when we were apart, I was human too. I'm like, yeah, there's equality, you know, and there's like a way to get up. I was a waitress in a cocktail bar. I mean, that part's true, but I would have rocked with her without your ass, right? Literally doing the Human League as lyrics, as plot points in like a pot-infused party in Malibu. It's delicious, right? How do you not love that?
So now the party's going to get busted, right?
Right. And
they say, we found the marijuana, sir. And he says, burn it. And they take it down to the bonfire. But the quote from Captain Bligh is, destroy it like it destroys their minds. The cause of typhoid, leprosy, and syphilis.
I'm like, it's fun.
Yeah. I know so many friends I have friends who smoke pot, and they've all gotten all three of those things.
Yes, all three of them.
That's why I don't smoke it.
So, but then we all get so high at the bonfire that not only do we finally get to see the virgin boobs, right? Yeah. Yay, her boobs coming out. But Doreen is on top of the pervy little wimpy little neighbor that's been looking through the binoculars the whole time. The pirate says, I'm going back into politics. It's safer, more profit. I'm like, what? Get a horse for San Clemente. That's what I
said. San Clemente. I'm like, yeah, go Orange County. Do it. Make it happen.
I just want to interject really fast. Patty, you were talking about when the virgin shows her boobs at the party. And they're like watching it, you could tell the actress was a little awkward because she turned away so quickly. But one of the things Hillary pointed out to me, and one of the problems she has with these kind of movies, is you don't get to see swinging dick next to the swinging boobs. And she thinks that would be fair. And in this movie, you get dudes take their pants off when they're running into the pool, but they turn around so quickly and back into the pool. And that's not real.
I'll take guy butt. I don't really want to see the front. Like, boobs are so much cuter than the rest.
That's your thing, and I support it. All I'm saying is Hillary is just, she's equal opportunity. She wants to see swinging dicks.
But here's the problem, though. Swinging dick, depending how you show it, especially back then, can get you a rating you don't want. So, like when
Richard, but if it, like, she understands that.
But at Richard Gere in American Gigolo, from a distance next to the window, it's a little artistic. It's like the Venetian blinds. You can kind of get away with that. But it was like we weren't doing that in American movies.
It can't be erect. If it's erect, it's porn. So that Hillary's just saying, the nipples on these boobs aren't necessarily erect. If they are, it's not porn, but it's just, if they're turned on, it doesn't matter. But if even so, to have a guy's dick just equate the swinging boobs would be more visually compelling for her. She'd be like, oh, it's fair. So I just want to say, I think that's a good take on exploitation. I think absolutely. And when one of her favorite movies is Eastern Promises.
Well,
if you haven't seen that movie and you like swinging dicks,
but also this is a movie that is mostly designed for men and for fun ladies to enjoy. So and I think if you're a Gen Xer particularly, it would be you'd be hard pressed to find an R-rated movie that didn't have boobs in the 80s. You just would.
Yeah. PG movies had boobs in the 80s.
Absolutely. So it was a different time. But I do think it's funny because I think in TV in the last couple of years, now you're even starting to have erect penises, and that's fine in television shows, and people are losing their goddamn minds. I'm sorry, that's interesting even to look at. But like, it's hilarious to me that it is very 80s, and you're right, it is a little, whatever. It's like, I always felt that way, like in The Doors. I love Meg Ryan, but Stone cast America's Sweetheart as Pamela, Jim Morrison's, longest love interest. And, she's the only one keeping her clothes on because she wasn't comfortable. I'm like, that's cool because you're Meg Ryan until in the cut. And then she's like, okay, I'm ready. But to each their own. But there's no way that a hippie girlfriend of Jim Morrison is doing stuff like this with Morrison in a movie. So there is a little bit of, she's the star, and we're so messed up with sex in America. Like, we're so hung up on this. We have no problem doing Terrifier 3 with chainsaws doing unmentionable things, but breasts, or penises, like
it's the old Jack Nicholson quote: if you kiss a tit, you get an R rating. If you cut it off, you get a PG.
I love it.
Nice sense, Pepper. I just wanted to point out, Jeff is talking about the dude who put a weed on the engine and was smoking it out of a tailpipe.
Didn't burn his
and I thought that was like erroneous on all the levels, and it made me laugh so hard because
it's a sight gag. It's a sight gag.
Yeah. It's like kind of a suicide gag, but it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So speaking of sight gags, you can wrap the whole movie up by saying that the dumb girl accidentally put a whole box of fireworks on top of the bonfire. Incidentally, as the fireworks are exploding, the girl
actually has sex for the first time, just like
virginity.
Right.
And she wraps by saying, I always knew it would be like this, which is kind of a little bit gone.
Yeah.
Which tells you it's a male screenwriter. I think most women having their first sex and with this, probably not fireworks for everybody, perhaps, but to each their own. But we do have this wrap up where we still have like the creeper, who's now done like an East meets West, like, oh my God, I love my Bruce Lee friend, and now I'm drunk and I'm falling into a pool and everyone's making out and we're all good. And the people who were formerly engaged to have their own lovers, and they all seem to be having a really good time. It's very like, okay, this is very sex positive. We like that. And then there's like, how do we wrap this shit up? And it's like, okay, the guy who is on the beach finds literally like the most plastic treasure you've ever seen.
Yeah, he strikes gold.
And then you see more of the bags that come up for the sequel that we were just stolen from having the chance to see. And then it's like, it all fade to black. The pot is still in Malibu. Maybe there will be another party. Should have been a sequel. The Beach Girls.
Well, and I don't know the sequel, but I don't want to fail to mention the other dynamic film by said director, Bud Townsend, which apparently I have seen, my husband says, called Alice in Wonderland, an X-rated musical fantasy.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
Alice in Wonderland.
That one is fun to do their homework.
Yes.
That was one of those X-rated drive-in movies that would play after the two main features.
Well,
they used to mix it. They used to, like, the first one would be for families, the second one would be for grown-ups, and the third one would be for perverts. And that was, the programming was excellent.
Well, it was the era of like Flesh Gordon and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, okay,
Yeah, Flesh for Frankenstein.
Flash for
You
Frank.
know,
Yeah.
these things are excellent.
So-
So let's wrap up our discussion on the Beach Girls. I want to hear you guys pitch this movie as a watch to somebody who would never watch this movie. Like, why should anyone watch the Beach Girls who doesn't have the proclivities that maybe we do in different ways?
Okay. I think guest goes first.
Patty.
Is that for me or for Tracy?
Yeah, you go, Patty.
Yeah.
Well, a guy texted me this morning and said that he had seen the preview, and in bullet points, it was boobs, running, weed, and boobs.
Yeah.
And I believe I said, you forgot the gay pirates, or no, the gay sailors, and Uncle Carl boning two 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if that doesn't make you want to watch it, I'm saying bullet points. I give you a synopsis, but the bullets speak for themselves.
Before I get Tracy's answer, Patty, can you tell us that story you told us before the show about getting this movie on DVD?
Okay, I'm going to give it. Yes, thank you.
Michael Stone, Alice in Wonderland stars Kristen DeVille from Meatballs.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
my Michael Stone, by the way. He's the one that made me watch that horrible movie. But
Thank you, Michael.
I don't remember it. It wasn't horrible. So really quick, in a nutshell, this Beach Girls has been my favorite movie since 1982. And I've always wanted it. And you can't find it anywhere except for Todd's Weird Collection, which I wasn't willing to buy. I saw it on Amazon. I was like, that's like 30 different movies I'm never going to watch, right? But I found it on eBay and I was like, ooh, eBay. And I ordered it. It was like $3.99. I go, oh my God, my favorite movie, $3.99 on eBay. I think it was the first thing I ever ordered on eBay. It didn't show up. I forgot about it. It never showed up. I figured I got screwed, whatever. So pandemic happens, full lockdown, like March 31st, maybe April 10th, like bad, right? Nobody knows if their mail's going to kill them, what's going on. And this brown, like clear, plain brown package from Korea shows up here. And the postman, the mailman was like, I don't know what this is. He put it on the grass in the front yard and he stepped away like, oh my God. And my husband went out there and he got like a towel and he picked it up. He's like, what the? And he opens it and cuts it open. He kicks it on the grass. He kicks it over and shit. And out pops a copy of the Beach Girls. And he picks it up and he's like, and he texted me a picture of it. He goes, you are in so much trouble. Hour-long ordeal. And even the postman totally went and like did this full Silkwood shower over a $3.99 copy of my favorite shitty movie.
I love that so hard. Again, East meets West, all about inclusion and connecting people, baby. That's what we do.
Yeah. Tracy, why should people watch this thing?
God, I'm going to just have to kind of sort of build on what I said to open it. I think we live in really hard times right now. I'm so sick of
Everything.
pearl clutching over things that don't matter and people just like sane washing things that do. And because I grew up when I did, the idea that this movie is like unapologetically, we're doing AIP. They are. Okay, we're doing AIP, but we can do it a little bit more purple with the humor, a lot more nudity. Mm-hmm. And we're not lying about it. And I think Patty makes the ultimately correct thing where everybody is made fun of. Everybody is. It's not mean spirited. It's just like, it's very broad, but it's not pretending to be anything other than that. And I miss the days where we could just be like, you know what? I'm going to do a sex comedy with some TNA. Yep. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a teen, fantasy, and also middle-aged men who probably should be married in art. This is them for them too. And the women are going to have fun because it's like, who doesn't want to be like sexy and funny and hang out with these young people? So I just think it's an unapologetic escapism. And because it's of a time that, again, there were atrocities happening in 82, I would argue part of the reason we're here now is a certain president that was in office then. But this is not what the show is about. But there was an innocence still. But if you're into film, I think the reason to see this is 82 reflecting on AIP with a renewed kind of sexual positiveness, knowing this is going to be on home video, which was a thing. And again, that it made $12 million.
Yep.
It wasn't concerned about plot. There's a reason that we don't know the actors' names, and this is probably a highlight in their lives. It's fun. It won't hurt you. It's escapism. And I think right now, all those things, I want to co-sign as like, that's a good thing.
Excellent.
You know.
And Michael Stone says worth it.
Yeah. I agree with you guys. I think that those are really good points. And I would say if you're currently a 14-year-old boy
or a lesbian,
so many boobs.
Good times for the lesbian.
14-year-old lesbian.
You guys
either
are
way,
very binary, and I'm talking about there's a lot in
boobs.
there for my gay peeps.
Yeah.
All the media says the kids are down on sex, so maybe
they should watch movies like we did, and they can get back into it.
Yeah, exactly. Before we get into our ending segments, I just want to make this quick announcement. We're switching our broadcast days from Wednesdays, which we've been doing since the start, to Mondays.
Yes.
Because I got a full-time job and Wednesdays have become very difficult for me to do. So we're going to start doing it on Mondays. We're going to start doing it on Mondays on June 16th. So that will be our next show, June 16th. I don't know what it will be, but it will be great. And we'll have a good time.
And what better to start your week out with my favorite shitty movie? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
We're here for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot easier for me to get the Anderson family reenactments together because I'll have the weekend. So let's do this. A quick seg called Be Bad, Be Best. Tracy and I are going to present titles of movies, and Patty is going to tell us if they're so bad nobody should ever watch it under any circumstance, or they're so bad it's amazing and we all have to see it. Tracy, can you go first?
I will go first. I'm actually going to go with a new release that's still in the theaters, y'all. That's right. There are movies still in the theaters. What? And this is one where, I mean, Todd and I have joked about this franchise, and I think I have been a little harsh. And so I want to apologize for not being as fully as I should have. I am, of course, talking about the brand new, or it's been out for 2.5 weeks, Final Destination Bloodline, which would be part 6 in this franchise. The franchise starts in 2000. One is really high concept and great, true story. The first Final Destination started off as a failed spec script. It was written to be an episode of The X-Files. And Glenn Morgan was like, I think I want to direct because I have like a hiatus coming up. Why don't you turn this into its own feature film, high concept, i.e. we're teens, we're on a plane, some of us got off, we cheated death follows us, and we have to figure out how to stop that curse, and how do we do that? And then the second one, I think, is easily the best maybe of the whole franchise. That's the iconic, the logs and craziness. 3 is interesting. 4, I think, is a disaster. Sorry, fight me on it. 5 is more clever than it needs to be. And I am curious to see, because I know Todd feels more strongly about this franchise. I went back and rewatched all of them. And better than I gave it credit for. I want to know, do we think the brand new film, Final Destination Bloodlines, which reboots something that's 25 years old, but stands on its own, is it be bad? Is it be best? Patty, have you seen it? Do you know the franchise? I
haven't seen it. Okay. I know of the franchise. Number 1 was great. I don't think I saw anything past that, but I'm going to say be best because they've gone so far that they're going backwards. And sometimes it's good to start over and get your bearings, but just based solely on flames coming out of a skull. I really,
is it not? Come on.
Yeah, it's good. I'm going to be best.
Okay.
It runs in the family. It's also got a good catchphrase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's been a lot of franchise sequels called Bloodlines.
Yeah.
There's Hellraiser and Pet Sematary and now this. It's hard for me to comment on this movie because I worked with producer Craig Perry on a movie, but you know what? He hasn't hired me since, so I'll be honest. I think Final Destination Bloodlines is a huge miss for the franchise. Your aforementioned, and Craig Perry has said this in interviews, that Final Destination 4 is shit. I don't think it is. I think Final Destination 4 delivers more on what the franchise started with than Bloodlines does. I mean, before Bloodlines, 4 was the worst one, and I didn't think it was that bad. Bloodlines, I thought, was dull. It takes for one, it kind of negates the whole thing that's awesome about the movie. You see an accident happen, like a horrible natural disaster or accident or whatever happen, and then somebody wakes up out of it, and then the same thing happens again, and you see them ducking it because they had a premonition. This movie starts with that, but then it wakes up and it's just a chick, and she's had this dream from the past, not a premonition, but a dream from a past, because her mother had the event happen to her. And you don't have the tension of, oh, where's this thing happening again? It in this movie, it doesn't happen.
Have you seen
the tension in all the first 5 ones, whether you like them or not, is in place. In this one, it's dissipated. This is what this movie is for me. This is producers, executive producers, corporate marketing engineers going, we want to make this franchise for kids, for the young people. And they did it. The critics love it. It did it at the box office. This is brilliant, corporate putting together stuff and putting it out. But for me, as a fan of the franchise and as a moviegoer, it didn't deliver on what I expected from the franchise. And yeah, it really, I thought it was really dull. It's trying to be the Final Destination elevated horror. That's what they call these Midsommars and whatnot now. And it's trying to be that. This was a huge disappointment for me. And the CGI is terrible. It's like the gag, like I appreciated the gags for what they were going for, but I was also like, it looks like they put an AI representation of the practical effects into the movie instead of doing the practical effects. So like all these things compared to it.
I actually, what surprised me about it, I don't disagree. I think it's some of the worst CGI I've ever seen. I think it's a mistake, because what was so good about the first one and the second one, and I would argue actually the fifth one is really clever, because the fifth one is
great.
The fifth one is a prequel to the original, but you don't really know that until
that's the twist. The twist is
but the twist is really,
you just ruined it, Tracy.
You just ruined it for me, man.
It's been 15 years. It's on you.
I'm gonna go watch all 5 tonight.
But here's the thing, though. I disagree with Todd about this, because I was never that married to this franchise. I think the first 2 are interesting. I think 3 is good. I think 4 is embarrassing. I think 5 was clever. This one, if I remove the terrible AI, because he's right, it's like so bad. It's so bad. And it was made for too much money and whatever. But there was as a Gen Xer also, Tony Todd's, one of his swan songs, they bring back the mortician, and I thought it was very brave, because Tony was clearly losing his battle with cancer. And he gives this monologue, and I found myself watching it, because his voice is like Candyman forever. Helen, come on. Oh, and so watching the dying Tony Todd being very brave and doing this last turn where he talks about life and this and that, I found myself in the theater. Again, this is part 6 of a franchise I'm not in love with. I started to cry. I was very moved by Tony Todd.
I got choked up by it too. That scene is great. I'm saying it's
I get why you didn't like it, but my answer is why it's the best, and I disagree with you, which is rare, is that I actually do think it's clever, and I think the way that he's I won't, without giving it away because it is a new release as opposed to the 15-year-old movie. The way they wrap his character into the opening scene, and because of the bloodline mythology, which actually does track, I thought that was not elevated, because I don't think this whole franchise is elevated. I think it's fun, and it was better than it needed to be. And then smarting, having just rewatched part 4, and I think what Eric Heiser did with part 5 was really inventive. This to me was trying to be part 5. Get that why it didn't work for you, totally agree. But for me, I was surprised that I wasn't bored. I did think it was interesting, and I had a good time with it in the theater. I don't know that I need to see it again, the way some of the earliers do. So I don't think it's one of the greats, but again, it's kind of how I feel about Dial of Destiny. In a world where Crystal Skull exists, I'm not going to like hate on Dial of Destiny because that's embarrassing. So to me,
yeah, I know. I mean, that's the
You
one
disagree
of the small differences between you and me and bad movies.
I know,
Like,
but
I prefer Crystal Skull to a Dial of Destiny because Crystal Skull
yeah, you
is
can
like
keep Shia LaBeouf and scary
crazier
ass
bad.
aren't scary, and
crazier bad.
who can't act, and nuking India in the fridge.
It's mediocrity versus a massive failure. That's my.
I don't know. I don't agree with that, but I actually think it's interesting. And when you come to part 6 of a New Line franchise that's been around for 25 years, it's a little bit like my friends who were like, "I was disappointed that Cocaine Bear wasn't better." And I'm like, "Were you? It was Cocaine Bear." I think
Yeah, no,
I didn't go like, look, it wasn't Citizen Kane. What happened here?
I have that conversation all the
time. So it's a thing. Anyway, interesting. If you like it, I think you should see it. But I understand Todd's points. I was surprised that I was emotionally moved by something that is not.
I was too, but
I'll call it perimenopause. That's what I'm going to do. Anyway,
Hillary and I worked with Tony Todd, so we had a personal.
I love him so much.
We
I just thought he was so brave. And God, when you
sorry, Craig Perry, if you ever fucking see or watch this.
What is yours? What's your Be Bad, Be Fast?
Yeah, we got to rip through the rest of the stuff. Mine is, because Beach Girls is part of a genre that is seasonal. So there's the winter version, which is Ski School. Patty, have you seen this? Have you not? Be Bad, Be Best.
No. My ski movie is the K-12. I'm all about Better Off Dead.
Not Hot Dog.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was.
But Better Off Dead is PG-13 nonsense. This movie is R-rated.
Oh.
And it's like Beach Girls, but at a ski resort. So is it Be Bad or Be Best?
Instead of water. Yeah.
Is it Be Bad? Be Bad? Be Best? Which one?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, Be Bad. You don't actually have to see it.
Bravo.
No, it's fine. No, you're not wrong, Tracy.
Otherwise, I'd have heard of it by now.
I'm going to see Be Bad, even though I haven't seen it, because I feel like they're stealing the poster art from For Your Eyes Only. And so I'm going to dock them for that. And I feel like I'm already worried about her health because she's wearing a bikini in the snow. And I feel like that's like a bad message to send out to people.
That was a big thing in the 80s.
Only for the
skinny skiers. They called them skinny skiers.
Yeah, it's not my genre. So I'm just going to say Be Bad because I'm pretty sure it is.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't want to see the road rash that poor girl's going to get, but I'm going with Be Bad.
Yeah.
I agree. Nobody should see this but me. And I will watch it again. So what happens when good actors are involved in bad films?
Yeah.
And this is the subject of the next segment. When bad films happen to good actors. I'll go first because Tracy went first last time. And this is, on point with the Beach Girls. This is another 80s jiggle comedy. And it's called Joysticks, capitalizing on the video game craze of the time. And it stars a lot of people you never heard of, and Joe Don Baker as the douchebag owner of an arcade. And Joe Don Baker has been in some of the worst movies of all time. And I'm glad he got a paycheck every time because Joe Don Baker deserved to make money as an actor.
Yes.
However, he didn't deserve shit this bad. I mean, we should have been doing better things with Joe Don Baker than
100%, Walking Tall forever, and we also lost him recently. So
very recently. Yeah, that's why it's stuck in my mind.
Yeah, no.
Have you seen this one, Patty?
No. Although I'm a Joe Don Baker fan, I just saw him in something I can't remember, but no.
Didn't see this one. Okay.
I saw this on video a lot, and it was on HBO. It was one of those, last
year.
Week.
It was a big
I remembered thinking it was a little dirty and fun, and I shouldn't be seeing it. I was a little too young for it, so I think my memory of it was like, oh, I kind of like it, but I know it's not good for me. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's like Fruity Pebbles. I'm like, I like it. I know it's bad for me, but so
yeah, I get you. Yeah. All right, what's yours, Tracy?
Mine, it's pissing me off because it's like Daniel Day-Lewis, Marion Cotillard, Penelope Cruz, Judi Dench, Fergie, Kate Hudson, Nicole Kidman, Sophia Loren.
Wow.
Literally, like, how are you all in a film by the guy who figured out how to make Chicago work on film?
I totally forgot about 9. And now that you're bringing it up,
it's like one of the all-time great cast. I mean, even Fergie's good in it. I would argue that not Kate. Oh my God, yes, Kate Hudson, Goldie's gal. I think actually is the standout. Her number that she does is very like Fellini-esque, and she really pops. And I'm like, that's a great moment. But you have all of this talent in a film that just doesn't work at all. And I think Rob Marshall's a really good director, and I think it's an example of it misses. It doesn't quite hit it, but what they're going for, they're aspiring to be Fellini by way of, I would say Vincent Minnelli. So it's a musical Fellini kind of vibe together with a cast that I would kill to have in a movie of mine. And I just don't think it works at all. And so I just feel like, God, I have so mad respect for Rob Marshall also as a director. I think it's very talented. Everybody in this is talented. I just don't think it works. And it's one of those rare, like, wow, like, I think it's a mess, and it shouldn't be with the talent involved. So for this category, I was like, I think that's an example of
deeply forgetful. I don't know who it's most like which actor is falling most victim to the movie in this.
Daniel Day-Lewis, you're failing at that. This guy is one of the best actors I don't know maybe ever. So like, come on,
is this why he like
became a cobbler? Yeah, I don't know. It's all good. It's a good question for the age.
Have you seen that one, Pepper? Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
it was a big failure in its day, but there's a reason no one's looking at it again, I think.
All right, let's end on a positive note here with the boost. Tracy, you go first. Tell us the movie people should see. Tell Patty why she should see this if she hasn't.
All right, I'm gonna pick it's a little bit of maybe it's obscure now. In 1995, Paul Rudnick wrote the screenplay. Who done like I don't know, and Family Values, In and Out. Like he's a very good writer. But given that it's Pride Month, and we're canceling Harvey Milk's name on a ship because Hegsmith sucks, and we're trying to like not fund Pride because whatever. I'm not gonna let that happen.
That's why you watch the Beach Girls.
Beach Girls for sure. So I wanted to boost a film called Jeffrey, which was an MGM film. It came out in 1995. Steven Weber took all of his hiatus time off of whatever seasons of Wings, and he had a little bit of box office. Michael T. Weiss, who's the hot guy in the flannel, was basically Days of Our Lives, but super hot. Patrick Stewart.
Oh yeah.
Jean-Luc Picard forever, and of course my girl, good old Sigourney Weaver, doing a vicious and brilliant comedic send-up of Marianne Williamson, who I have feelings about. Her name, she plays Deb, and she wears like a white outfit, and she's a complete hypocrite, and it's beautiful. Sigourney kills it. But you also have like Christine Baranski, Nathan Lane.
Oh yeah.
Kathy Najimy shows up, Patrick Stewart, everybody showed up. And what the film is essentially about, it was based on a Paul Rudnick play. The director of this film did the play on Broadway and then, did this. So it was 95. And it was about Steven Weber, who's a gay man who is like, I guess I'm going to be celibate forever because AIDS is still a thing. And I just can't get involved because my fear is I'm going to fall in love with someone and he's going to die. And I can't do that. Mm-hmm. And it's just look at what this is. And of course he meets Michael T. Weiss, who is like the dream guy, but is positive. And he has to get over himself because he should be so lucky to be with this amazing human being, but it's very funny. It's heartfelt. It's not a bummer. And it has one of the best casts on the planet. And it's really clever and funny. And I feel like it's a little forgotten. So as we start summer and as we start Pride Month, I want to boost a film that if you're younger, you may have missed, but you can see it. It's Jeffrey. It's really a beautiful film.
That sounds great. I'm totally into it. We will be watching that.
Yeah,
I remember that movie. God, it's been a long time. Mine is more in line with the Beach Girls. This is our Roger Corman produced, because Roger Corman, who would not be outdone by mainstream Hollywood, saw that there was this trend of jiggle comedies, and he made Screwballs, School Spirit, and most importantly, he made The Last Resort.
Oh my God!
Charles Grodin, where Charles Grodin takes his family to erroneously takes his family on a family vacation to a swingers resort. Now, I'll say this. I don't think it's really a swingers resort. It's just kind of a party resort. But like,
it's very on brand for the movie tonight. You're right. You're right.
You have a problem. If you have a problem with the beach girls, gay stereotypes of the sailors, don't watch this, because Mario Van Peebles is going to piss you off.
Okay.
But this movie is so dumb, and like you can see them, like all of the actors trying to work with the little they have. It's supposed to be this like crazy resort wherever, and it's just like a little stage on a beach, and Mario Van Peebles is being a gay stereotype. Highly recommend if you like this kind of movie. I mean, if you like the Beach Girls, The Last Resort is worth a look, because it also Grodin. Yeah, that's what I
and Grodin.
Oh my God, Grodin.
It's all about the Grodin. I will be watching both of those. Thank you so very much.
So let's wrap up the show.
Yeah. And also, for those who are listening who can't see, his boost is Dogma tomorrow is getting a re-release for its 25th anniversary. It's really the 26th, but like, let's lift up the good old Kevin Smith. I mean, anyone who wants to cast Alanis Morissette as, like, I guess God, go for it. Ben and Matt.
Cast her as God, because she gave David Collier a BJ in the back of a theater.
Isn't it ironic? I think. No, it's good. Good stuff. That was like low hanging fruit. Yes, Jeff is right. Actually, I really love Dogma, and I also want to give a shout out to my friend Vincent Guastini, who did the wings and the special effects on that. He's also touring with the movie. Vincent Guastini is amazing. If you can get him for your film, do. He can do everything from like the creepy crawly stuff. Like, he even worked on the Boogans, but then he's also the one who did the special effects makeup for Ellen Burstyn's Academy Award nominated performance in Requiem for a Dream.
Ooh, yeah.
And do all of that. He's one of the most special people out there, and I can't wait to work with him. So I want to lift Jeff's boost, but also my buddy Vincent, who, if you guys are out there and you're in a position to hire Vincent, do it.
Yeah, do it. I love the Boogans. Patty, where should people look for you out there? You're counting beans somewhere?
You know what? The bean counting isn't that important. I'm more interesting than that. Where can you find me?
Yeah.
You can find me in really random places.
That's hot.
I'm willing to disclose my information, because you know what? There's very important things that are about to come out, and then I'd have to kill you. So let's just keep it.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep it quiet. But, like, if you guys, if you guys really want to know what Patty's up to, look on the dark web. Just go and deep dive on the dark web.
Maybe I'll do another shitty movie again someday.
I hope so.
Come back.
I hope so. I just want you guys both to know that I got a text from a mutual friend, Sophie Venable, who did the show, did G.I. Jane. And this inspired. She's like, "Oh my God, I love the movie My Chauffeur." So maybe.
Oh my God, My Chauffeur flashback.
Which is also on the Too Cool for School collection.
My Chauffeur was another one of those. I was too young when it came out, and I felt a little dirty watching it, but I loved it.
And another cable perennial.
It was another cable that in my head. That and early Demi Moore, John Cryer, No Small Affair. Those were all on.
Yeah, that's a good. Oh, that's a good one.
And I was like, I want to be like the cool, sexy lady who's like these cool, and it was never going to happen. But I like the movie, so.
Anyway, we love you guys. Thank you for watching and listening, and we will see you on June 16th, which is a Monday, not a Wednesday.
We make your.
Thank you, Patty Stone. We love you. You're awesome. See you next time.
Thanks, everybody.